Hey there, my name is Gavin, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to play See You Again by Tyler, the Creator. So yeah, let's just get right started into it. I'm on the new setup now, so hopefully this all works fine. Yeah, I guess we'll see in post. Okay, so for this intro part, it's pretty simple. We're going to be starting with an F major 7 chord. Beautiful chord right there. This chord is built up in our left hand. We have a F sharp, a C sharp, and an F. And then our right hand, we have an F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, and F. Or really, we're just kind of playing this, these all together. And our melody is going to be in our right hand over here. And we're starting with this C sharp right here. That melody right there, and you're going to be playing that alongside the chords in the left hand, so it's going to be something like this. You know, you can accentuate it like that, you can play it more like... Kind of just depends how much dissonance you want. It's kind of personal opinion, you know, whatever you're really feeling for this part right here. But for me, in my cover, I started with just... So just... You live in my dream state. Just like that. Pretty simple. It then moves to the next verse. The relocate my fantasy. And for this section, we're moving down to a different chord. So the underlying, I should say, structure of the chords in this piece, it's a F sharp major 7, a E flat minor 9 right here, and then it goes up to this A flat or G sharp minor chord, and then it ends on this G diminished chord right here. So the chords we're going to be following are just that right there, and we're just going to be following that pattern as we move on. So we've already done this first chord being the F sharp major 7. Beautiful right there. We then move to the either D sharp minor 9 or E flat minor 9, whatever you want to call it there, which is E flat in the left hand, and in the right hand we're still playing the exact same notes. Only difference being in our right hand we have this new melody. So let's look at all this together from the beginning. You live in my dream state, relook in my fantasy. Again, relook in my fantasy. Just like that. Our next chord is going to be a little bit different. Again, we're playing this either A flat or G sharp, whatever you'd like to call it here. Just like that. So left hand we got this A flat going. In our right hand we have this A flat, B, D flat, and F right here. And then finally we're ending on this G diminished chord. I guess you couldn't even call that a G diminished. It's kind of like a G augmented with this like note being thrown in right here. It's a weird chord right here. Anyway, let's go over from the very beginning one time all the way through. So we have this. Pretty simple right there, not really too much going on. And again, our melody's staying pretty consistent here. If I'm just playing the bass notes, just being like outlining the root of each chord, we're starting with this. Then we go down to the E flat. Then we go to the A flat. And that's our structure right there. All we're doing from that point on is just adding the rest of the notes in the chord. So we just have the... Pretty simple right there. So that's our entire intro sequence done right there. It's pretty simple, not really too much going on. Again, it's not too complicated, you know, just little parts moving back and forth right there. But yeah, you live in my dream state, relook in my fantasy, I see reality, you live in my dream state. And it just repeats itself every time I'm counting sheep. And then this is the part where it switches up a little bit. Is the only time I wake up. This chord change is the exact same. Going down to this E flat minor once again. But we're changing the melody a little bit. So we have this. time you wake up, you wake up. One more time. Only time you wake up, you wake up. And we're just moving up to this F sharp down to the F right here. You wake up. Pretty simple right there. Let's look at this one more time. Every time I'm counting sheep, you see every time I wake up, you wake up. You exist behind my eyelids, and I wake up. Right? So again, we're playing the exact same chords as before. It's just this chord, this chord, this chord right here, and that chord right there. And the only thing that's changing is this melody in our right hand. You know, at the beginning of the song, we have the "You live in my dream state," right? And as we go into the verse 2 part, we're switching to every time you wake up, you exist behind my eyelids, and I don't wanna break up. Right? Pretty simple right there. So I'm gonna just play from the very beginning of the song up to that part. You live in my dream state, really look at my fantasy, as in reality. You live in my dream state. Simple. Every time I count and see, every time you wake up, you exist behind my eyelids, and I messed up that part right there, but again, it's pretty simple right there. My eyelids, when I wake up. Beautiful. And that's all there is for that section. So let's move on to this next kind of main melody part, the 20-20-20 vision part. So the only thing that's going to be changing, we're keeping our same chords. Again, F sharp major 7, E flat minor 9, this kind of A flat minor 6 chord-ish right there, and then this very dissonant chord right here. I don't exactly know what to call it, but this chord right here. We're keeping those same chords. Our very pinky is going to be changing here. So that's the only thing that's really changing because we're outlining the same chords with the rest of our fingers. So right hand pinky, going to be playing a new melody. 20-20-20 vision. Right? 20-20-20 vision. Let's look at that one more time. That's the only thing that's changing right there. Everything else is the same. And you can choose to have the rhythm play only in that one finger or throughout the entire chord. I prefer to do it for the entire chord. So 20-20-20 vision. Keep it in vision. I would keep it in. Again, that's the only thing that's shifting there. Really pay attention to that highest note. That's the only thing that's going to be changing. So 20-20-20 vision. Keep it in me with vision. I wonder if you would. Right? Just like that. It's pretty simple. So 20-20-20 vision. Keep it in me, keep it in me. Really simple right there. Again, we're just kind of changing these upper notes right here. It's kind of these 4 notes are just going in sequence depending on what's being sung. So what I'm going to do is a quick recap from the very beginning, and then we're just going to keep on moving on right through the song. We're already basically halfway done right here. So, you live in my dream state, relive in my fantasy, reality. You live in my dream state. Every time I'm counting sheep, is the only time you wake up, you exist behind my eyelids, look up, right? I don't wanna wake up, dun, 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 dun. Pretty simple right there, okay? Then we're moving on to the next part. 20-20-20 vision, excuse me. 20-20-20 vision. Cupid hit me with precision. I wonder if you look both ways when you cross my mind. And I'm sick of chasing dreams. I wonder if you look both ways when you And that's all it is up to that part. Again, pretty simple, not too complicated. Really just focus on that very right note, the uppermost note right here. The melody through these 4 fingers or these 4 notes right here is the only thing that's going to be changing throughout the entire song. Your rest of your chord structure, that foundation right there, is going to be exactly the same the entire time. Very simple right there. Let's go into the "Can I get a kiss" part. This is where things start to get a little bit more complicated. So our chords stay the exact same, which is pretty cool. Can I get a kiss? Can I? Can you make it last forever? I'm about to go to war, and I don't know if I can see you again. Exact same chords right there. Chords do not change a little bit. Our melody is going to be changing a little bit here, okay? Can I get a kiss? Can I? Can you make it last forever? Right? And then it's because I'm about to go to war, and I don't know if I can see you again. It's kind of that melody right there. Maybe not exactly that, but that's kind of the gist of it. So let's add some chords to that, okay? So, can I get a kiss? Right? And all we're doing again is we're building this big chord right here. We're just adding it onto the melody. Can I get a kiss? Can I? Can you make it last forever? Because I'm about to go to war, and I don't know if I can see you again. Right? And again, we're just switching down to these chords all down here. You can kind of voice it however you want, but really important here is keeping the melody strong. Can I get a kiss? Can I? Can you make it last forever? Because I'm about to go to war, and I don't know if I can see you again. Can I get a kiss? Can I? Because I'm about to go to war, and I don't know if I can see you again. And that's all there is up to that point. That's all it is right there. That melody can kind of be improv'd on a little bit, but having that kind of chord structure down and just really making sure you're following these chords throughout that entire sequence, really important right there. If you have that chord structure down and you have at least somewhat relative pitch, you'll be able to play that section just fine. So we're going to start from the very beginning and work our way back to that point. So I don't know, messed up a lot of notes in there, but kind of general gist of it. Again, for that section, you can kind of improv it a little bit. It doesn't have to be very rigid, you know? Can I get a kiss? Can I? Can you make it last forever? Because I'm about to go to war, and I don't know if I can see you again. That kind of melody right there, you can either copy that melody one for one, or again, I was kind of grace noting it, just playing within the scale. Yeah, that's kind of all there is to it right there. And then last but not least, it's like the main rapping section. There's not really a melody here, but a cool chord progression you guys can play during this. F major 7 right here. And then dropping it down to this, which is a D, A, D, F sharp, A, C sharp, E. So it's like, okay, my infatuation, something, 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 what you call it? Okay, something, you know? And you can either play like this, or even like maybe one of these chords, like a 7 chord, to go back to here. And the song just repeats itself. And yeah, that's basically all there is to it. A really big portion of the song is just understanding this chord progression right here. Because if you can play that chord progression consistently, that's all that really matters in playing the song, and especially if you're just going to sing to it or anything like that. The melody, again, pretty loose. I played a pretty rigid melody throughout this piece, and you can play that if you want, but it's also very much open to interpretation. I think it's very important that you start to feel out your own melodies when kind of playing these songs. But yeah, I hope that's a pretty simple explanation of how to play this song, not really too complicated. And yeah, if you guys have any other song requests you want to do or any suggestions for this new layout, let me know. But yeah, I'm glad I could finally record another video. We're so back, ready? And then you can do one of these. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, have a good day, guys.